Hey everyone, I'm Isaac and welcome back to Isaac Reviews 2024. What is there to say about a director as legendary as Ridley Scott? In the nearly 5 decades he's been in the business, he's created some of the most iconic films of the 20th and 21st centuries. One of those films was Gladiator, which received critical acclaim when it was first released in 2000, and it went on to win a couple Oscars. And yeah, I can totally get behind the hype. It's got some thrilling action scenes and exceptional filmmaking behind it, all the while providing an engaging story with stellar performances and well-written dialogue. And for a while, a sequel was considered for this film, but nothing ever came of it until 2 decades later when Ridley Scott decided to step back into the ring with Gladiator II. Now, this is Scott's first time directing a sequel to one of his films outside of the Alien universe, and knowing that, I was hopeful that he could deliver an experience that I'd still find entertaining, and after watching it, I'd say it was. It's set well after the events of the first film, where Lucius, the son of the late Maximus, is now an adult who becomes a gladiator after his home was invaded by the Roman army led by General Marcus Acacius. So Lucius seeks revenge against Acacius and fights as a gladiator for Macrinus, a former slave planning to overthrow the tyrannical Roman emperors. I will say that as a big action spectacle, Gladiator II absolutely shines, but in terms of how it tries to build upon the complex character writing of the first film, it really falls short. But let's start with the stuff it does right, and of course the action is the biggest example of that. It was one of the biggest aspects of the marketing, so I already had a feeling the crew would be going all out with these scenes, especially when you take into account that this is the most expensive film to have come out this year with a budget of between $250 and $310 million. But having a high budget doesn't always equate to having high quality visuals. What matters is that the people making the film work with the tools they're given to deliver a visually appealing experience. And was that the case with Gladiator II? Absolutely. For a film with such a gargantuan budget, it feels a bit more restrained in its usage of computer-generated effects compared to a lot of other major blockbusters nowadays. Although I should mention that the CG we do get is excellent, and the crew at Industrial Light and Magic did a great job bringing the film to life. And as for the action scenes, they have some top-notch choreography and brutal kills on top of an epic and bombastic score by Harry Gregson Williams. The other part of Gladiator II that I want to highlight is the acting, as it was also really good. I especially gotta give props to Paul Mescal, Connie Nielsen, and Denzel Washington, as they knocked it out of the park with their performances, even if the script was admittedly kinda weak. Yeah, as much as I wanted to really like this movie, I do think the writing wasn't all that good. It mostly felt like the same thing we saw before, with not a lot to make it stand out, coupled with the inconsistent development of the main character. One minute he resents his mom, and then the next he wants to protect her, and another minute he's fine with working for Macrinus before suddenly realizing he's corrupt and wanting to kill him. Like, pick a motivation and stick with it, writer David Scarpa. Overall, I'd say Gladiator II was a solid film, but it pales in comparison to the first one, which just so happens to be one of Ridley Scott's finest works yet. Looking past that, it does have some exceptional action scenes and performances, but the weak writing and confusing characterizations bring into question how necessary this truly was. I guess I should also mention real quick that this was the first film I saw in ScreenX, and it was quite an interesting experience. The novelty on its own was pretty cool, and there were some points where the experience really benefited the action, but there were also times where it felt kinda distracting. But as for Gladiator II, it's worth watching at least once if you liked the first one, but don't expect it to be anywhere near that same level of quality. It's just a typical 7 out of 10 movie that just so happens to be a sequel to Gladiator, so I've definitely seen worse. Next time, I'll really have my work cut out for me, as I'll be talking about 4 new movies that'll be coming out on November 22nd, 1 theatrical and 3 on streaming. I'll definitely be busy, but at least you'll have some new videos to look forward to this Thanksgiving. Anyways, thanks for watching this episode of Isaac Reviews 2024, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you all later.